better.
You gotta do the foreplay, man. You have to introduce yourself before you just jump in.
Wait, introducing yourself is foreplay?
Yeah, you gotta fondle the sack.
Yeah, you just cozy up to her vagina and say your name.
Hello there.
It's like the gates to Under the Mountain with the crap, I know it in
Oh yeah.
Fellowship of the Ring.
Oh right. Bella. And then it just opens up.
Picturing someone just crouching down there and just being like, "Hello there."
Moria. I kept wanting to say Mordor, and I'm like, I know Mordor.
Moria, yeah.
Moria.
Oh man. Oh, okay. So I need to actually do an opening. We need to get this on the road. Welcome everybody to the YTWPodcast, now with more sodium. So I'm your host, Great Canadian Guy, and with me this week is Jess.
Hello.
Nikita.
Hello.
And our guest this week, Jesse, or the Couch Bum.
Tacos.
So let's start with you, Jesse. How was your week?
My week was okay. Wasn't too bad. Feeling a lot better now. I was not feeling well earlier.
Kind of sick?
I just had a headache because I took a long nap on accident, and then I woke up and...
I woke up in late stage sleep, and you just, I hate that.
But I am better. I am actually right now eating boneless wings and drinking an unnamed carbonated beverage.
It's a Budweiser.
No. I'm not drinking. I'm drinking a soda.
Have you been doing anything in the last couple of weeks? Playing any games you think are interesting? Or
yeah, I started playing this new South Park game.
Oh, what do you think of that?
I actually really like it. There's a lot of things that aren't explained, but they are. But it's I don't know how to explain it. It's so you have certain abilities that you can do around town. But there's so much stuff going on that I keep forgetting to do those things. I keep forgetting to do the side stuff, like the exploration kind of stuff, because I want to see what's happening in the story. Because it's actually pretty good.
Yeah, no, the game's very dense.
Other than that, we had our weekly D&D game last night, which was amazing. I, of course, am playing as a monk and a total badass.
As most monks end up being.
Yeah. And I'm only level 2.
So you're playing 5th edition. What do monks do in 5th? I haven't played much of it.
A lot of it has to do with getting additional attacks per round.
Okay, so there's still the DPS versus mages kind of guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So, Jess, what have you been up to?
I've been doing a couple of new things. I've finished today, actually, recording Jedi Outcast. So I've been doing a once-a-week episode of me playing Jedi Outcast for the first time. And I wrapped up all of the recordings. I beat the game today. Tomorrow, my next... or actually, I shouldn't say tomorrow, because tomorrow's not going to be really tomorrow. But soon, I'll be releasing an episode. I won't say how many more weeks it's going, so you don't know when it ends. But I wrapped that up, so that's going to open up some more time for me to do more newsy kind of stuff. I landed. I'm not gonna say a whole lot yet because I don't want to jinx it before it's out. But I actually will have an article up on our site soon where I got to interview a real Star Wars author. So that won't be. Yeah, so that won't be a video, but it will be on Port Haven for people to check out. I'm continuing through our 40 days Star Wars project, which was going on at the last podcast also, because there's 40 of them.
That is how 40 works. Yeah,
that is how 40 works when you do one a day,
unless you're Canadian.
Yeah. Okay, so it's 52 here.
Yeah.
So anything else?
No, just every day more and more excited for more and more Star Wars, but those are the big updates.
Awesome. So how about you, Nikita? How are you doing?
I'm good. I have South Park, but I'm not allowed to play it on Sunday, which is so annoying. But I've been playing the new Life is Strange, the prequel.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
I'm planning to stream that hopefully this weekend.
Don't get too excited.
Did you play the original?
I did. I love the original. You know, the time traveling, the story, everything.
Mm-hmm.
This one has a good story, I won't lie, and it gives me more insight on Rachel and her story and Chloe's story from, you know, it's filling in the gaps that we didn't have in the last game, but I miss being able to time travel.
Right,
It's
yeah.
really messing me up. But yeah, it's a good game. It's hopefully getting better.
Awesome.
And Fortnite, I'm just dying. I'm just dying in Fortnite. I can't even. I can't last more than a few seconds without time. And
I tried playing that exactly 2 rounds and then I gave up. I couldn't figure out what was going on. I think it seemed like Fortnite really expected you to know what PUBG was.
Yeah.
And go with it, because like I remember loading it up and it didn't even tell me what any of the keys did. I'm like,
same.
This is a little bit annoying. So I made it like 2 rounds.
Like when we haven't played, like I haven't played PUBG, so
I haven't either.
Like a noob. So this was bad. But I
was walking around and people were axing houses down and I didn't know why and I gave up.
Same. And then I tried figuring out how to build and what was in building when I could be saving my life.
Right.
I'm just so hopeless at it. And that's my week.
All right. So myself, I've been playing The Fractured Butthole as well. I'm really...
What, are you talking about the game?
No, it's a sex thing. Yes, I've been playing the new South Park game myself, actually, on stream. It's okay. I think mechanically it's a huge step up from the first one. I mean, the plot's as throwaway as it ever was. And I'm starting to question whether South Park is actually satire or just wants to look like satire.
I question that with every episode.
Because it doesn't seem to know what it's attacking or what it wants to say. It just wants to upset as many people as possible, and that's not really how satire works.
Right.
I mean, I like it, but I don't think it's going to be in my Game of the Year list by any means. Other than that, I've been playing some PUBG and Fortnite here and there. I've come to like Fortnite a lot more as a multiplayer experience and PUBG better as a single player.
That's fair.
Yeah, the whole like base building aspects that Fortnite has, I find really conducive to working together.
Mm-hmm.
Where the whole not being seen and trying to see other people who are not being seen is better just alone. That makes any sense?
Get that?
Yeah.
Makes sense.
But yeah, other than that, just been keeping up with the regular thing. Did finally break my drought on subscribers, so that was nice.
Congratulations.
Yeah, like that was unreal. I think everybody's been suffering ever since school got back in, though.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, everybody should just drop out of school.
Yeah, they don't need it. Just watch YouTube.
I mean, they can learn so much from us.
Yes!
Just listen to this podcast.
Alright, so let's go ahead to the news. Our top story, Activision's newly approved patent is super exploitative and gross.
I concur with that statement.
Definitely.
So for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, recently a patent was approved on behalf of Activision that essentially turns matchmaking into a marketing initiative and tries to match you up with people based on what they think you want to buy and that they are using, and will beat the crap out of you with it, so you'll buy it.
Yeah.
My only thought is
think they're the first ones to get caught. I think the other publishers do the same thing as well.
Well, an important note is that we don't know it's actually happened or is happening. It's just a patent that was approved.
right, but other companies could be using a similar thing already.
Certainly.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, my only problem, not my only problem, but my thoughts on it is, if I'm dying over and over again in a game, I'm not going to look to see what the person is using and buy that to be better. I'm just going to stop playing.
You're not their target. Yeah. And they're not going to use this, I don't think, on everybody, because every single factor in addition to the basic necessary ones makes matchmaking harder. And if you're including all of this information trying to create a match, no one will ever get the match together, finding 10 people that fit the criteria, for instance.
Yeah.
This is going to be used to exploit people who already have a pattern of making microtransaction purposes, people who will be considered the whales or the dolphins, so to speak.
Yeah. And it makes you feel good about what you. Then they're gonna pay you someone that's a junior and doesn't have your kind of equipment, so you think the gear you bought is making you a better player.
Yep.
But it's just making you feel good about spending money.
I think they've even explored the idea of introducing bots in the place of other players for similar purposes.
Yeah.
So our next story, Star Wars Battlefront 2 isn't out yet, and people are already really pissed off about it.
Oh yeah, I'm hearing a lot of complaints about that. There was this one YouTuber, Angry Joe, and he said he did this whole math sequence, and he's like, it takes about 3,600 hours just to unlock every gun in the game. I don't even know.
Jesus Christ!
That's insane.
Like, he literally did the whole math sequence, and he's like, you know what? If I were to play for 3,600 hours, then only can I get every single gun unlocked in this game.
And that's only for the 2 guns per class that are already in the game. Like, if there's more, it's going to be more hours.
Right.
So that's like a solid 150 days, right? Like,
Yeah,
who has that
crazy.
kind of time?
That's the point, though. They don't want you to do that. They want you to buy everything.
Exactly.
Right.
Holy hell.
Which is, I was totally going to buy Battlefront 2. But now, like, I'm really debating whether I'm going to or not. I might just do it for the single-player campaign, but I will probably never touch multiplayer.
You had the beta, right?
I did. I played the beta.
What'd you think of it?
I thought it was great. It was fun. The gameplay is awesome, but these kind of systems, like, it's a big turnoff for me.
I can't blame you.
Yeah. I wonder.
The more I played it, like the longer the beta went, people were unlocking things and getting better. I tried not to do that. I tried to just play like the baseline game, and I was getting destroyed by the end of the beta. So, like, I couldn't kill anybody.
So you think it creates a really pay-to-win environment?
Oh yeah, definitely. Or maybe I just suck.
I wonder in the full game, what a ranking system will end up being like, because it will be very unfortunate. And I can see the multiplayer really kind of tanking for a general audience. They probably won't care if they're making money off of microtransactions, but if there's a decent enough ranking system, then it doesn't really matter, because then anybody else who's just grinding through the game is at least playing against other people who are just grinding through the game.
Well, that's part of the thing, though, is like the ranking system was based on the star cards that you buy.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the more cards you use or the better cards you use, the higher your rank would be with the class.
Right.
Okay, but does that match people who are paying to win against others who are paying to win, and then not so much against people who are just playing the base game?
That's something you'd have to ask them.
Yeah, I guess we'll find out.
Yeah.
And they could be like, I don't want to say it, but they could be going towards like an Activision kind of thing, where they'll put people with those cards against the people without them, just to make them want to buy them or something.
Right.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it all seems, even without all the information, I'm not willing to give them the benefit of the doubt. It feels predatory.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
And it's unfortunate, because I remember coming off of the first game, or I should say the first of the new games, people were really upset from the lack of single player. So I've seen now with their marketing campaigns, at least the ones I follow more than anything else, maybe that's because I'm more narrative driven anyway, is they're really pushing the single player and the single player campaign and the experience, and they released a tie-in novel so you get to know the characters better, and that looks like it's going to be phenomenal. It's just a question of whether or not that single player campaign is going to be worth the price tag if you end up not liking the multiplayer.
And it's going to be a $60 like AAA game, right?
Oh yeah.
Of course, yeah.
I think the success of that game will come down to how long the single player campaign is. If it's kind of like a crappy 12-hour campaign, I think people will get
Yeah.
mad. If it's closer to 20,
I kind of have a feeling it's going to be similar to like a Call of Duty type single player, where there's a story there, but you can finish it within
Like a
10
day.
hours or so,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
and that's going to be very upsetting.
Yeah.
For me anyway.
Mm.
Because I was one of those people who were upset about no single player in the first Battlefront, the new one, because they had it in the Battlefront 2 that came out in the 2000s. There was a single player campaign, but I guess they rushed the production of the first one. So yeah, that's publishers for you.
So anybody else have anything to say on that?
That doesn't involve cursing? No.
No, curse all you like. This isn't family friendly.
No.
I'm holding back for Overwatch because I got a fat lot to say about that one.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Oh, Overwatch! You pissed off Sergeant Curry Pants.
Yep.
Yes.
No, that's coming up, but I want to stay in the realm of Star Wars for a minute.
Star Wars.
Because it's been brought to my attention that Star Wars fans are unhappy about changes to their canon. Jess?
Yeah, it's been that way for a little while. I was originally in that camp, and I kind of got over it over time. But I was going to talk about this because I felt like it related a little bit to Battlefront. And if anybody wants to chime in on any other franchise that's experienced this, go ahead. I think it would be kind of universal. But basically, what happened was, since Star Wars movies have been coming out, they've been making books and comics. And then in like 1991, this book trilogy called the Thrawn Trilogy came out, and it just sparked a fire. And since then, there were over like 200 Star Wars novels written. And then when Disney purchased Lucasfilm, those became non-canon. They've kind of colorfully called it the Legends universe, and it would just be like, it's just like with whenever comic book universes like Marvel or DC, start over, it's a different world or a different universe or what have you. And now they've started to publish new material. And I was originally very upset because a lot of those books are very dear to my heart. I still own several of them. But all the new stuff has been like good. Like the worst of the new published material has been decent. None of it has been bad. And most of it has been phenomenal and beyond where the expanded universe was before. But it changes a lot of things. And I mean, that starts right down with, if you watch The Force Awakens, you have Kylo Ren. I think it's safe to not have to put a spoiler tag on as being Han and Leia's kid. But in before The Force Awakens, Han and Leia had twins themselves, and then a second younger son. And that has been wiped away, and there's no reconciling different children with different names. So a lot of fans are understandably upset. Many of them are to a point where they refuse to read any of the new material. I know some people, this is an extreme minority, but I know some people who have refused to watch any of the new films because they don't want to do anything with the Disney era. And I just think it's kind of an interesting question when you're dealing with franchises and when franchises get rebooted. What do people who are trying to make their own art owe people who've made it before? What, for people making Star Wars now, how much do they really owe holding to material that came before? Or, last podcast we were talking about the new Shadows of Mordor game. Is it Shadows of War now? And it's like, how much does that game owe even the source material of Tolkien's books? How much is it incumbent on that game to hold true to the spirit of that? And I think it's kind of an interesting dynamic for fans to have to deal with.
Yeah, for sure. Do you think that ties in at all to the idea of death of the author?
It could. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, where like consumer or reader, reviewer, whatever, interpretation is of equal value to the author's intention.
Yeah, I mean, I've said before, like, when it comes to interpreting lines from Star Wars for theories or whatnot, people would talk about, well, this is what George Lucas intended, or but this is how the line sounds. And when talking about that, I always kind of say, it could be the intent of somebody to tell a funny joke, but if I didn't think it's funny, it's not incumbent on me to laugh at it, even though I can understand it's supposed to be a joke. And I don't know, I think you see it so often in different video game franchises. Lara Croft has been rebooted. For example, XCOM has been rebooted. And there's always that, it's so great to see this new thing in this new light that's, supposedly getting rid of all the old mistakes and bringing something or new or updating it. But some people will just never be happy with that and will always want the older thing. And I just, I don't know, it's something I've always found interesting, this notion of what responsibility does a story writer have for that?
Okay, and it's funny you mentioned these rebooted games, because I think an important thing people overlook is that the old games, the old Tomb Raider games, are still there, and you can still play them, and you can still experience them. It's not like this caused them to be erased from the timeline of reality.
Right.
So the books, the Legend series, are still there. Jacen Solo still exists in a book, just not in the current timeline universe. And that reminds me, like you mentioned, of like comic books. And they've done that like 10 times by now. And comic fans, I mean, at first I imagine in the 80s with like Infinity Wars, or no, that Infinity Wars was later. Crap, what was it called?
Oh, there's been so many. There was.
I know, the one where Superboy punches time is the one I'm trying to talk about.
Oh, that sounds exciting.
It's so dumb. Anyway, I imagine people were upset about it back then, but it really was just like the rumblings of like this sense of loss that I don't think actually was there. Like, you can still go back and read Silver Age Superman, and Crypto the Superdog is still there if you really want that.
Right.
But they sort of move forward and reimagine the characters ever so slightly each time, and we've gotten a more progressive view of these universes and these characters. And I don't think that that's a bad thing, and I don't think it takes away from the existing canon that's no longer canonized. Right.
No, I've always found that, because what's been going on with Star Wars is the people who are in charge of it now, so the head of the company is Kathleen Kennedy, but she has different people who work under her who either work on Star Wars Rebels or who are working on the books, and they are all Star Wars fans. Like, every higher up at Lucasfilm is a huge fan, and they all have these things that are close to their hearts. So they've been bringing in elements, like Star Wars Rebels just brought back Admiral Thrawn, who is arguably the Star Wars character that started it all for the expanded universe being popular. And they've been doing a great job of it. So, I haven't been bothered, because they've been slowly bringing back the stuff I love while not having the stuff I didn't. Like, there's a book where Luke goes on this like Star Destroyer that's also a super weapon, and there's like the Force ghost of this chick on there.
Oh God, no.
Yeah, no, and I'm pretty sure he like did it with a Force
ghost.
He
bangs the Force ghost.
Yeah. And it was like this really awkward thing where like I remember being really young reading that and like having this comprehension of what just happened. And then at the end of the book, Luke had like this really hot blonde student who died. So then the Force ghost like possessed the body of his hot blonde student. And I mean, I'm not making this up. She was described in the novel as the blonde with the legs.
That is the saddest written for the male gaze thing I've ever heard.
I read this book like 15 years ago or something, and it's still burned in my memory. It was so bad. And I'm okay that that's not canon.
Yeah, burn it down. Fuck it. No. Burn it to the ground.
That can go. That can move on.
And they have done work to, like you mentioned, reintroduce some of the characters, right?
Yes. And there are some characters that will never get brought back, like the one you mentioned, which is
Yeah.
Han and Leia's oldest son, Jaina, his sister. They can't come back into canon,
No.
but which is unfortunate. There's other characters, like Luke's wife in the Legends universe is one of my favorite characters. She's not likely to show up in this one. I'm not sure I want her to if she can't be that same person.
Are we talking about Mara Jade?
We are talking about Mara Jade.
Oh, I love Mara Jade.
I
she's
love
good.
Mara Jade, but I don't know that I want a Mara Jade who is an Emperor's Hand who never, sacrificed a clone of Luke Skywalker so she could break her mind control so that she could marry the real Luke Skywalker. I'm not making that up.
I know you're not.
His name was Luke Skywalker. All clones in old school Star Wars, if you were a clone, there was an extra vowel in your name. So, the clone of Luke Skywalker was Luke Skywalker.
I don't remember that.
That's the best.
It was great.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's some good and there's some bad. But like you said, everything going forward has been baseline better than I think the average of the historical stuff.
Right, exactly. Especially at the beginning, when they were still finding themselves.
Oh yeah, and you even told me that one of my favorite characters got reintroduced, Darth Bane.
Yeah, he's not fully reintroduced, but he does exist in canon. So the final season of Star Wars: The Clone Wars, which ran on Cartoon Network, and this is the 3D animated one, not the 2D micro series that ran when Revenge of the Sith came out, but the one that started in 2008.
Yeah.
Its final season never aired because when Disney bought Star Wars, that created Warner Brothers, which is what was distributing Star Wars: The Clone Wars. So the show got axed, which is really sad. But the final season was released on Netflix. It's called Clone Wars: The Lost Missions. In it, the final episodes, Yoda goes on this amazing adventure where he basically figures out how to become a Force ghost. He goes on this same journey that Qui-Gon had gone on and not really told anyone that he went on because he's Qui-Gon. And in it, he has to go to this Sith tomb, and it's the tomb of Darth Bane, and the ghost of Darth Bane is there. And the ghost of Darth Bane is voiced by Mark Hamill.
Oh, that's so cool.
It was phenomenal. They were like, we've been waiting, because everyone had been talking with the Clone Wars, like, why don't you get Mark Hamill in to voice a character? And they kept saying, we don't have a character epic enough for Mark Hamill.
Right.
And then they brought him in as Darth Bane, which was fantastic.
Right. Just people who who the hell is that? He's basically the strongest Sith. He was ridiculously strong in the Force. He's
the reason why there's only two Sith in the Star Wars.
Yeah, he introduced the rule of two. That. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Our next story. If you're a bad person doing bad things in Overwatch, Blizzard doesn't want you to be playing Overwatch.
Oh.
What do you mean by bad things?
That's what they said.
They got this new Play Nice, Play Fair development update from Blizzard. It's so first of all, when in the beginning stages with Overwatch, they were so sensitive whenever we play games. When you play online, people are gonna troll you and they're gonna trash you. That's life. Life is not fair. And whenever you type GG easy, they would change it to a joke so that you wouldn't hurt the other person's feelings. Yeah, but now they took it to a new level and they're just no, you gotta play nice, or you can't play the game. You can't be insulting. You can't call someone an ass. You can't make fun of them. Can't call them a noob. Why are they making it such a sensitive thing? Why can't they? Blizzard needs to take a tennis ball, put it in fertilizer, water it, put it in the sunlight, and grow some balls. Really, it's just a game.
Oh my God.
Okay, but what do you really think?
Yeah, don't hold back.
It's so
okay,
stupid.
Well, how would I put
why?
it? What if I put it to you this way, if you're really looking for an explanation? If more people would be willing to play the game if it was less toxic, why wouldn't Blizzard do everything they can to detoxify the game and make more people buy it?
See, but this is why people make fun of millennials. Like, oh, guys can't handle things like back in our days. Because now you're crying over some guy who called you like a noob on an online game. Like,
Well, I mean, that's one thing, but I also don't want to be called the N-word on online games, like, at all. And I'm for anything that prevents that.
Well, here's what I do.
Like that I can understand. Racism and that kind of thing. But if you're like getting upset over GG easy now, or you're getting upset over noob, and you're going to tell people that they are banned from playing the game or they can't play the game because of noob. Now that's just that's crazy for me.
Right.
Because
What I
like,
do
gaming
in-
is about releasing that.
What are you saying,
tension.
Jesse?
Sorry.
I was just gonna say what I do in multiplayer games is I don't even listen to the in-game chat,
Oh, absolutely not. It's hell.
and if that causes me to lose because we're not working as a team, then so be it.
Mm-hmm.
I would rather lose than be talked down to by a bunch of 12-year-olds or 13-year-olds.
Absolutely.
Right.
And
You can just choose to not listen to it. Like, just don't listen to them. They're like 6-year-olds that are probably swearing you, and then you have a job, awesome, and this is a 6-year-old kid who just beat you in a tiny game and thinks he's ruling the world.
Well, I have a response to what you asked, John. You said, why wouldn't they want to try to bring in more people by doing this? You have to think about, like, it might bring in more people, but it might also push people away.
But I think they're making a calculated choice here. I think they've determined that more people are not playing Overwatch than are playing Overwatch still.
True. And I mean, people play and don't play for various reasons.
Oh, totally. This isn't the be all end all. I would probably play Overwatch if I didn't get into Paladins. And I was actually going to say that I think Paladins handled it really well, where each character only has a set number of lines they can say.
Yeah, that's clever. That was really, really clever. Because it limits you on your
I don't like Paladins.
I know you don't.
all FPS.
Fernando
games.
is my homeboy.
Oh, Fernando.
Yeah.
Mm.
It is like a normal team, but with me in it.
Calm down, Nikita. Calm down.
I have to,
Fan-
I know so many like expert Paladin players through YouTube Wolfpack. I need to have some of you guys actually teach me how to play, because that was another game that I played for like 2 rounds and decided I didn't know how to do it and just stopped.
Yeah.
Oh, I suck at it.
You should definitely watch me and Mr. G's video where I yell about somebody being a hacker because they kept killing me.
Yep, super hacksaws. Paladins is actually pretty good for introducing people to the game. When you start playing, you go in with other new players and you play exclusively against bots who are not smart. And so you might die a little bit when you get used to the controls and the maps and stuff, but for like the first, you kind of gain levels as you play the game more, and that helps the matchmaking. Up until level 5, you play against bots, and it lets you learn the maps, learn the characters. You pick 1 or 2 characters you want to try and see what feels right. And like if you want to go through that, that's probably going to be a total of like 2 hours of your time. Then yeah, we'd be more than happy to like bring you in, play some multiplayer, and like figure out what role you're good at. Like Paladin's a lot of fun with friends.
Yeah, I can see that. I mean,
sorry, go ahead.
Okay, I was just say, like, not being a player of Overwatch, I would kind of agree down the line of, I think there are certain things you just shouldn't, like, let people say to each other in a game. I say that as, like, a private company has every right to make that decision. But I also agree that, you know, it's probably taking it to an extreme if you can get banned because you called somebody else a noob. I think that's taking it to an extreme. But you shouldn't be able to call people slurs in the game.
Like the extreme comment.
Well, I would even say like a certain level of like moderate insult is not necessary.
Yeah.
Like calling someone a noob is nothing. Who cares?
Right. Well, it's just, to me, I would think it's wise to not let people curse in the game, because, you know, I think very few people would, you know, it's what you were talking about, John, with the calculated risk. I think more people would be willing to play a game that didn't have cursing than would leave a game because they couldn't curse in it.
Absolutely.
I think the worst is when you're a female playing like a, and then you get this 12-year-old kid that's like, "Go make me a sandwich."
Oh, yeah.
My
yeah.
goodness, I get triggered. I would swear that 12-year-old kid like to no end.
Yeah.
But then that's just me, and I have a temper.
No, like I stay away from multiplayer games as much as possible. I'm the type of person where, a lot of times if I'm trying out a new MMO, I will play the male character because you just you don't get bothered then.
Man, that's fucking sad.
That's true though. I played this like really dumb. I don't even remember what it was called, but it was some like knockoff free MMO that was an app, and I had a female avatar, and I'd walk around and like there was this. It didn't happen all the time. It was one troll, but I had this one troll dude who would just follow me around and wouldn't leave me alone. And it was like, well, I'll just play as a dude, and then this won't happen.
Yeah, but like that's your.
It's sad, but it's
and it forces you to like erase your femininity from the whole game sphere to avoid being harassed.
I mean, I don't have a whole lot of femininity anyway, so it doesn't really matter that much to me personally. But I can understand how this would bother other people.
She's a man.
I get made to play the healer in every minute. People are like, "Oh, Nikita, let's make her the healer." And
that could be your profession as much as it could be your gender.
Yeah, you are a literal doctor.
It's because of that. The minute they hear that, oh, okay, I got the perfect role for you. You just stand there and heal everyone. Okay? That's your job.
Just stand there and heal everyone like a doctor.
Yeah.
And sometimes I want to kill people. I don't want to heal.
Like a doctor.
Oh my goodness.
But no, it's totally true. Like, getting pigeonholed into a role would suck.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
I kept doing that for her on XCOM 2, actually. I was like, make her the medic.
Aww.
And then one day I was just like, no, please. No, something else.
Poor Nikita. One day you'll get to be the heavy.
One day I'll get to be that.
Just keep eating and you will get there.
Yeah, keep eating. One day all of this could be yours.
Well, I intend to be so heavy I end up being the payload.
Yeah! Oh boy.
You must escort the
Just make
Nikita.
sure you drink your milk.
Yeah, drink your milk. And one day you could be the payload.
They told me I could be anything, so I became the payload.
She just wanted Fernando to escort her to the end. Alright, so the next story. So this one's interesting. Many, but not all, YouTubers playing the Fractured Butthole are unable to monetize their videos.
Why is that?
Not clear. That YouTube doesn't seem to like explaining anything ever.
Yeah, they just said something about, like, Polygon tried to them, but they're still waiting for the comment from YouTube.
I got this from Polygon.
Advertising.
And what stood out to me is I'm not demonetized on those videos.
Yet.
Yeah, actually. Even Jacksepticeye and all these other YouTubers yet complained.
Yeah, and it's weird that it's so inconsistent.
I'm trying to think what's in the game that would cause that.
Are you kidding me?
I mean,
They don't like anything that's not family friendly.
Well,
oh yeah, that's true. That's another thing.
Yeah, so that's the weird thing, is if it was you can't monetize the Fractured Butthole, I'd be like, fair. But like, some people can't and others can, and it's super inconsistent.
You know what? I think YouTube is not doing things correctly.
Well, they could definitely be doing better.
I mean, I'm seeing a lot of the people that were streaming on YouTube just go right to Twitch and stop on YouTube.
Okay, just a moment here. Twitch's new affiliate hustle is so clever. Because being an affiliate, it just gets you the features that YouTube already offers, but they make you sign a thing saying you won't use YouTube anymore. Like, it's so clever. You don't get anything really special out of it, but it gives people this sense of exclusivity.
Well, you get the things like the what are they called? Like the cheers or whatever.
Oh, cheers!
Like you can do that on YouTube. Like you get like super chats or whatever.
Yeah,
but you have to have like 10,000 views or
1,000 subs,
followers or whatever.
1,000 subs.
1,000 subs. Yeah, I'm not even near that. So
no, that's my goal.
Why would I do that? And when I can just go to Twitch?
Oh, I'm not saying you shouldn't use Twitch. Twitch is definitely a great tool.
I know.
I just think the affiliate program is a hustle to get people to stop using YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it seems to be working.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. It's a great hustle.
YouTube's going in the opposite direction.
Like a hustle
but I do want to, and I've been content striked. Like I've dealt with YouTube's horse shit, but I want to take a moment to defend them because Google has to be as aggressive as they are to avoid getting the shit suit out of them. Like the problem isn't that the automated system, and I'll use me as an example, saw that I was playing the Walking Dead video game, thought it was the TV show, and flagged me. That's fine. That makes sense. The problem is that a person didn't look at it for like 3 seconds and go, oh, that's the video game, unflag.
Yeah.
They just hit the OK button.
And
That's what I think is happening with South Park too, because it's consistent. The game is kind of consistent with some parts of the season that's playing now.
Oh, that's a good point. Do you think some of it's the automated system thinking it's the TV show?
Yeah, so I think it's that, and then they just kind of like remove it and flag it and whatever.
I don't know why that didn't occur to me.
I only thought about it now after hearing what you said about Dead. And
that's what I'm saying. I went through it, and I don't know why it didn't fucking occur to me. I'm an idiot.
We got it. We figured it out, everybody.
Mystery solved.
Listen to this podcast and we will solve the issues before you.
The hard-hitting issues, like, is John stupid? But have you faced that? Because I know you're streaming it too, CB.
Well, I don't monetize mine, so.
I mean, my channel is monetized, but I don't monetize my videos. But it does tell me which ones I can and can't.
Well, I'm not even able to monetize yet.
Oh, you haven't got to 10K yet. You must be right there, too.
Yeah, I'm like 9,500.
Yeah, no, because you and I have been neck and neck since basically July.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, anybody have anything to add on the fractured butthole?
I try not to add on fractured buttholes if I can help it.
Yeah, we don't want to cause more damage. Already damaged.
Wow. We don't want to cause more damage to the fractured butthole?
No.
Oh,
you already have to put a cream on it.
CB and GCG buttholes got fractured, so we don't like to add to that.
So our next story...
It sounds really bad because she keeps cutting out.
Yes, I keep hearing like...
So I hear CB, GCG, butthole suction, and that's all I heard.
I think we got the gist of it. Hashtag butthole suction.
Butthole suction. What?
But yeah, our next story. So a game called Boyfriend Dungeon is a dungeon crawler dating sim where you romance your weapons. I love this idea.
The regular
it's a dungeon crawler and it's a roguelite. So you go down in these randomly generated dungeons and you find these like historical legendary weapons and you bring them back. And if you want to take that weapon out and level it up, you have to engage the weapon as a person because it has like a persona, so to speak, and romance them.
Okay.
So you got to put your gun inside your weapon, huh?
Yeah, you get like your rapier or your broadsword or your axe.
I think that's the wrong weapon to use. Don't use the rapier.
Nothing wrong with a nice slim sword.
It's funny because my Discord just cut when he said that, and the word I did not hear rapier.
Yeah, I didn't
something
either.
else.
It's fine. Rapier. There, I can just cut that in.
So it's like romancing the stone.
Romancing the sword.
Only you're romancing.
You could really have a sword fight.
Yeah.
Oh.
Shack up while you slash up.
Ooh.
Wow, nice. That's a good tagline. See, how like this. The reason I put. Go ahead.
No, wait. You go on first.
okay.
Because I feel like you're going to say something funny, right?
I was just going to say the reason I put this in, I can't tell if that was an insult. The reason I put this in is because this isn't the first game of this style that's like, what if X, but dating? And I think it's a really interesting and kind of amazing thing that video games are moving into in a certain niche. Like, there's a dating sim where you date birds in a high school. There's a dating sim where you date actual tanks.
Okay.
So, like, I'm fascinated, I guess, by this phenomenon of personifying these completely asexual things and giving them a personality and sexual characteristics.
I mean, I'm not surprised by the internet anymore.
Fair. I mean, Rule 34.
Right, exactly. Which
But
I have accidentally stumbled on too many times.
Yes, accidentally, I'm sure.
Quote unquote, accidentally.
Accidental.
You know, look, never Google Jin and Orson Krennic. That simple. Like, just
Okay.
together.
Okay, now I'm literally Googling it as you
Oh, good.
right now. Just Googling
There's
it.
there's a lot of easy to find art about Jin Erso and Orson Krennic, apparently.
Oh. I thought you meant Qui-Gon Jinn for a second there, and I was like,
No.
that's interesting pairing.
That would also be interesting. Okay, he's a Force Ghost. We already know. They can just go
Yeah,
anywhere.
Force Ghosts can just get it on.
Yeah.
Sounds like being a Force Ghost is just strictly better than being alive at this point.
In all ways.
Yeah,
You're more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
right.
I see what you did there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So anybody have anything else you want to add on any of the stories? Anything you want to talk about?
I'm still fixated on this idea of
On the idea of what?
And the idea of dating in general.
no, but like
I keep hearing about this dating thing.
How does it work?
this boyfriend dungeon game is set in bowels of hell. What is that, like Tinder or something? Is that like making fun of
It's
Tinder?
the male 50 Shades of Grey.
So
But it's actually like largely yaoi.
It's what?
I'm just,
Animated male on male porn.
Oh,
But not
okay.
sex, not necessarily porn, but it's like a lot of, like, you play a male character, I think,
Okay.
and most of the weapons are supposed to be male personalities.
Oh, okay.
Well, now I'm interested.
Right?
so what do you just like rub the sword and then boof?
Well, no, the
some-
sword takes on the
Yeah.
role of a person, and you have to
Yeah.
talk to them and get to know them and romance them, and you pick your favorite weapon based on its
So
abilities
then,
and
like,
personality.
you're like about to
the-
battle
Yeah.
and oh, I'm sorry, I can't help you right now because you just didn't even like seduce me in any way. So I'm just gonna stay here. You can do your battle with your bare hands.
That would be great.
You would probably try to pick the sword up and it just wouldn't be very straight.
Until you rubbed it a little bit.
Yeah.
She's talking about erections.
So am I.
Oh God, thank you. Like I was worried I was the only one.
Like The Witcher or something, like grabbing that sword. Like,
Yeah, it'd be like, yeah, if
Very
the
nice.
silvers, what's her name, Ciri?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, see.
Yeah, if Ciri's silver sword had a personality and she had to like romance it into being good at fighting.
Dang.
I guess there's a thing for everybody.
And so then if you pick another sword, or I get jealous.
I don't know. I'm not sure if that mechanic is in the game, but that's fascinating.
Mhm.
You decide to switch styles, and the other weapon's like, oh, so you want a bigger sword,
Curious
huh?
about this game right now.
Are you on like, it's like, are you team sword or team ranged? You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Oh, a bow. You're cheating on me with a bow.
I think
I saw you with that gun. Mm. So you
Saw
don't
you
want
with that
sword
gun.
anymore.
Nikita's downloading this game right now.
Yeah, I think so.
I really want to play this.
We'll never hear from her again.
We found the niche. That's who this game is aimed at, is Nikita.
It's only they made it just for her.
Laser
I wanna
precision game.
stream it.
It's like that patent they figured out what Nikita's into, and then they made a game specifically for her.
Oh man, so that was another podcast. I feel pretty good about this so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for
time.
being here, Jesse.
Well, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. And again, Jesse is the Couch Bum. You can find him on YouTube. In fact, he should be in the YouTube channel for the YouTube Wolfpack where this is uploaded. You should see him on, like, the recommended channels.
Somebody recommended me.
Woo!
We can't figure out who it was yet.
I think it was John.
Shut up.
Someone's mic is crackling.
Yeah, no, super cracky, though.
I think she's burning down her house.
I think that
You
was
said the game's like in hell, right? Maybe she just like really went looking for it.
I think I'm like, if I were to be honest, Tinder is hell. And I think this game means Tinder. I think that's the analogy.
So you got is Tinder the swipe right thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, that nonsense.
So you got to swipe right on your swords.
And then
Yeah,
you
you
get
can
like all these kind of demonic things trying to beat you.
Does that... Yeah. Nah. I'm too old to understand Tinder.
I do not even try. I'm
You're like
Not even
23 or
gonna
24.
She's
What do you...
she's swiping right as we speak.
Yeah,
I just swiped right on you guys, okay?
Aw.
Oh, that will help.
I just-
them not at all.
She just wanted to fuck us. That's all.
Exactly, I was just being friendly.
Friendly.
We established earlier you introduced yourself.
Oh yeah, forgot about that. Just
crouch down and
lean up
say
to his
hello.
testicles and say hello.
What's your name?
Now I just picture her doing that when she's giving somebody a hernia check.
Yeah. Super inappropriate, Dr. Nikita.
Actually, that's funny.
I would watch
because
that show.
I was just thinking
would
that'd be a
watch the
great
crap out
Adult
of that
Swim show.
I'm not even lying. That happened to a friend of mine. She got called to do the demonstration right in front of the teachers, and she was so nervous. And then she just she forgets to introduce herself, so she takes the patient's pants down, and then the doctor's like, to introduce yourself, and she goes straight to his testicles, and she's like, "Hi, my name is Dr.
Hi there, little guys.
What happened?
That's amazing.
Face.
Somebody start making this cartoon right now.